On Thursday, October 16th, roughly 150 residents of the Palestinian village of Al-Mazra'a Sharqiya attempted to remove 4 roadblocks set up by the Israeli Defense Forces between the village and Route 60 in the West Bank. The action was a symbol of resistance to the Israeli-made segregation in the occupied Palestinian territories. The Israeli military has established over 500 checkpoints in the West Bank. The roadblock separates 4 villages. Together, they make up a population of roughly 20,000 residents. This action is only one example of many to come, according to the International Solidarity Movement, a Palestinian-led international organization that was at the center of organizing it. A release issued by the group states that, given the importance of this road in connecting the surrounding villages to the key commercial areas of Ramallah and Nablus, those participating in removing the blockades today hope to repeat the action until the road is permanently open.
After 7 years, people are saying enough is enough. So we all came here in a non-violent, peaceful way to remove the roadblocks and to reach our olive trees.
To understand how this action, roadblocks, and the segregation of areas within the occupied Palestinian territories affects those living there, the Real News Network spoke to Jesse Rosenfeld, a freelance Canadian journalist based in Ramallah for the past year. Jesse, you're currently working on a book examining segregation in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories. Can you tell us a little bit about what you mean by segmentation?
Right, well, what I'm basically trying to get at is that Israel as a state is based on the principle, or based on the foundation of trying to have a Jewish exclusive control over territory, where Jewish rights and rights for Jews are considered supreme. And the only way that that can be done is through a process of segmentation of the indigenous Palestinian population that's living there. So what that means is that you use different forms of what I call borders, whether that means a wall, whether that means a military checkpoint, whether that means the territory of Gaza is an open-air prison, or whether that means the ghettoization of Palestinian Israelis. These are all different borders that it creates to move Palestinians out of sight.
The wall was originally supposed to be built around the Green Line. Is that where it is now?
No, I mean, the wall completely deviates from the Green Line. As I was talking about earlier, a perfect example is in the Palestinian town of Nilin, you have wall, confiscating all of their olive grove farmland. I mean, it is near the border, but that's being all taken to encompass it into a settlement. If you look at Bilin, just several kilometers over, which has been waging a popular struggle against the wall for the past 3 years, in Bilin, the wall also confiscated large amounts of Palestinian farmland, which settlement construction has expanded onto since the wall was constructed there. I mean, this is sort of consistent. The wall is not about following a border, it's about defining a border that Israel wants.
In terms of land appropriation, I mean, the major reason that Israel's been giving for building the wall and leading to these segregations is to stop the terrorism. Has terrorism decreased since the creation of the wall?
Well, I mean, it's kind of that's a difficult question to ask. I mean, first of all, you have to define what terrorism is, but second of all, I mean, the number of armed attacks in Israel have changed. Hamas switched their strategy to firing rockets until they negotiated a ceasefire. What also happened was Hamas, several years ago gave up on the tactics of suicide bombings. So Israel's claim of the wall stops suicide bombings is at very best completely unproven, because there are all sorts of other political situations going on the ground that led to their cessation. Now it's also going on with the wall is that, as far as maximizing Israeli territory, Israel is basically trying to use the wall to confiscate the land and encompass the settlements as much as it can.
And will this border allow for a two-state solution?
It depends how you define two states. If you define it as a Palestinian state that will be completely dependent upon Israel and fractured in itself without free mobility to all the Palestinian areas and without any sort of unified continuous state, then yeah, it is a two-state. If you're talking about sort of a viable independent state that will require non-Cantonized or non-Israeli controlled land cutting right through it, then no, it's not a viable two-state.
Within whatever solution is actually implemented, how do the settlements play in?
I mean, the settlements are key for are key for what Israel's trying to do: create Jewish exclusive dominated bubbles. The settlements today serve the purpose of kibbutzim 60 years ago, or the Israeli communes and collective towns. They serve as outposts to demarcate land that Israel wants and territory that should be for Israeli Jewish use. And settlements are serving the purpose of expanding the frontier at this point.